in the way that you do. Can you talk people through how you design the action first of all?
Yeah, so it's probably my favourite part of the entire process, whether it was in Indonesia with Iko and the boys, or whether it's been in London or Wales with Jude Poyer and the team that I worked with on Gangs and Apostle and recently Havoc. And whenever we get together, it's kind of like the first germ of an idea. So I'll come to them and say, oh, this is the scene, this is how it's scripted, this is the tone of the thing, this is what I want psychologically from the fight or for the audience to feel. So, you know, I'll try to use, I'm going to try to use the Ray 2 as an example now, because you've just watched that. So it's like when Yayan is using the machete and he's like going through all those guys, I just remember saying like, oh, it'd be really fun if we make Yayan fight one-handed and that the machete is only allowed to be used on the target. It's a bullshit idea, but it's fun. And so I was like, what if he only uses his machete on the target, no one else? So he has to fight everybody else with one-handed. Right. So then that's Iko and Yayan then in a room with crash mats and boxes, just coming up with loads of fun ways they can hurt people with one hand. And then they present to me all these little snapshots of ideas, and then with those guys I'd work with them on the structure of the fight, try to figure out where the peaks and troughs should be, where the punchline should be, and then we iron out the design element of it first, so we know exactly what's happening to whom and when. Then after that, we will shoot a video storyboard. And the video storyboard is basically like we call it previs thing, where it's shot by shot, edit by edit, how I would put it together in the final film. So we figure out all of those angles, we figure out all those edit points. But the reason why I get so involved with them when they're doing the design work is that I want to understand the methodology of what they're doing, why they're doing it, what the movement is, and what the purpose is. Because for me, I have to be the eyes of the audience. The camera then has to show me the detail of the choreography. So where the pain points are, where the twist of a wrist or the turn or the change of a foot position. Knowing why they're doing things helps me then show you guys then what they're doing, and you can understand and follow the flow of the choreography better then. That's the theory anyway. It works sometimes less so, but yeah. And so yeah, we piece it together and it becomes this like blueprint like for the fight sequence that can inform every department across the film production. So like my first AD can say, we're going to shoot shots 1 to 15 today. So then we know exactly, we can time those shots. We can say, oh, it'll take 30 minutes to get that, 45 minutes to get that, an hour to get this. Or we can time it throughout the day, and then we can also tell different department heads, like for the kitchen fight, we can say like, oh, on shot 85, we're going to need a condom full of blood. We'll get to that later. For the slashes of the knife wounds when they're in a kitchen fight. But we can pinpoint exactly when something's required on makeup level, wardrobe level, camera level, rigging, everything. It becomes like a little plan of attack.
But it's not simply a box-ticking exercise. It's not simply a question of going on set and replicating what you did in your cardboard city, or with all the crash mats in prep.
It sort of is. It is, but with all the bells and whistles on.
Yeah. Once you get into a set, and you have the limitations of a set, or the glass, for example, in the kitchen fight, the glass wall. I mean, that must change things.
This is where I get, where producers hate me, is that when we design the previs, we end up sticking to it quite rigidly. So then, like for the kitchen fight, I mean, like we're in a studio, so we can decide, yeah, we need a glass wall here. Yeah, we just build it. So it's built specifically to the previs, so it's almost mapped out. So we will measure up the space that we've created, and then like for Gangs in London, we were like, oh, we need a fireplace here, and we need it to be burning, so we're going to set someone on fire in it, naturally. And for the Raid 2, yeah, that glass partition with the wine bottles had to all be there, all of that stuff. So we would be very rigid with the floor plan and map out where all the gags would happen, so that for my art department, they can go off and then build that, and then build it to suit the scene. The worst version of that, which hasn't come out yet, but with Havoc, we decided to design an action sequence in a nightclub, and you can't really shoot in a nightclub for extended periods of time because it's just too expensive. It's quite prohibitive. Yeah. So we built the stage for it. But then me being the fucking idiot I am, designed a sequence that takes place on like a sort of like a horseshoe type balcony.
Right, yeah.
So then we had to then accommodate a balcony with steels, and then I was even more of a dick, and I was like, oh, we should put a glass floor in there as well. So I want to shoot from underneath and shoot up through the glass floor. So then we had to have load bearing, engineering, and then I'm even more of a dick, so I was like, yeah, but we need to take one of those glass panels out at one point in the shoot so we can get a shot going through the floor. So then everybody hates me then. But when we get the stuff done, like, sorry, part of the previous thing was so good about doing the shot list and then having it on set is that I will next to the monitor I'll have a laptop open, and I'll have like, it used to be Final Cut, but now I use Resolve for my editing, where it'll have the previs and have the action scene as it was with crash mats and cardboard boxes. And then, as we call cut on a shot, Dan, my dit guy, will be my dit guy since the A2 all the way through until now, will really quickly send me like a recording of the camera, like an offline recording of the camera, send that to me so I can drop it in on the edit. So I can see literally while, once I call cut, I can see did the shot work, does the edit work, and then gradually the previs gets replaced by the proper production version. So at the end of every day then, everyone that hated me for wanting to build all this stuff and demanding all these things, they can at least see at the end of every day then 45 seconds or a minute worth of action that we've cut that day, that we shot that day, and they can see the fruits of their labour, that kind of thing. So yeah, it tends to pick up morale a little bit after that.